The dog in front of me is barking in anguish. It has been trapped in the sewer for a whole month, and after a month, his beloved master finally came. After hearing his owner's cry, the dog ran out of the pipe with excitement, and then cried with grief. The picture is very touching. Just a short time ago, the residents nearby always heard some strange barking, and an old man was keen to find the source of the barking. Every time he passed by, he would drop some small cookies, but the next day, they always disappeared for no apparent reason. After more than 20 days of hard work, I didn't even see what the other side looked like. The uncle was also very puzzled. After receiving the uncle's request for help, the volunteer the camera into the sewer ready to find out. After a long time, there was finally a noise in the drainage channel. Then a dog suddenly poked its head out from inside. The little guy looked up and cried out helplessly. Seems to be desperately seeking help. Next, he kept shuttling between the two ends of the pipe. After ensuring safety, the dog began to eat the cookies on the ground. You can see the dog's body is very thin. The ribs on the body are clearly visible. It is really heartbreaking. And when someone is found near, the little guy will immediately alert to run back to the pipe. This made the rescue tricky. Then the experts used the instrument to investigate the pipe. One end of the pipe is deep to the bottom, and the other end of the pipe above the end is connected to another section of the pipe. From this, it can be deduced that the dog should have climbed down from the pipe above and finally got trapped in the sewer. Although we do not know why the dog entered the sewer, but judging from his constant desolate screams, the little guy must be very distressed too. And the weather outside was very cold at this time. There was not enough food. If it wasn't for the kind people who fed him, the dog simply cannot survive. After clearing up the dog's situation, the volunteers were also very heartbroken, so they specially prepared food and water for him. After the dog saw the food, he was suspicious of it, immediately gobbled up, soon ate all the food on the plate. Perhaps he knew that a human was paying attention to him, so the little guy again began to make a constant cry for help. And at that moment, the volunteer found the collar around the dog's neck. Now they realized that the dog should have an owner. Then the volunteers visited the residents in the neighborhood. After a lot of investigation, finally in the mouth of an older sister, she found out the owner of the dog. The volunteers immediately followed the sister's guidance and found the dog owner. The grandfather described the dog's appearance to the volunteer. He also took out a photo of his dog with him. Grandpa said, "The dog suddenly broke free from the leash and ran away a month ago. I was worried about his safety outside, very anxious. Every day, he searched the neighborhood." After confirming the news of his dog, Grandpa immediately followed the volunteers to the dog's location. Grandpa couldn't wait to get down on the manhole cover, called out the name of his dog, and after hearing the owner's shout, the dog immediately ran out of the pipe. After making sure that the owner was looking for him, the dog looked up and cried with resignation. The dog really misses his master. Hearing the dog's heartbreaking cry, Grandpa is also very heartbroken. He was comforting the dog from above. Such a scene is really touching. Then, with the help of volunteers, they opened the well cover together. Grandpa couldn't wait to scare into the well. A hand hugged the dog in front of him, and the dog was like a child who had made a mistake. Aggrieved, snuggled in the owner's arms. After this lesson, I believe he will never dare to run away again. Seeing the relationship between the old man and the dog, they were also very moved and envious. The grandfather also expressed his gratitude to the volunteers. He said he would take good care of his dog in the future. After bringing the dog home, Grandpa gave him a big rooster stew. Since the dog was lost and found, the smile on his face has never stopped. Grandpa really loves the dog. I hope they can live happily ever after.